Welcome back. We will talk about moral hazard problem with the insurance. This is the social insurance chapter where we learn about the cases in which government intervenes with the insurance markets. This has been a long journey, but the videos are pretty short, most of them. So if you haven't watched those, start watching from part 1 and then follow 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7. Let us get started. The problem with insurance moral hazard. When governments intervene in insurance markets, moral hazard may be an issue. What does moral hazard mean? Let's say I have full coverage on my car. If I have full coverage, maybe I'm going to start driving recklessly. Basically, when you have insurance, the probability of you getting into the adverse state may go up. This is called moral hazard. So, in other words, adverse behavior that is encouraged by insuring against an adverse event. Could be. So, let's talk about workers' compensation program. We all want to insure against injury on the job. So let's say a construction worker. I have a close friend. She works at an oil refinery in Corpus Christi, and all her life, she's been working. All her life she's been here, and she's been working at a refinery since she's 19, I believe, and she's in her 30s. So we all want to insure against injury. Of course, she also wants to be insured against injury. So it is, however, in her case, it would be easy to determine. Hopefully, she will never enter that state, but it's hard to determine sometimes if the injury was really on the job or not. So insurance payouts, when they happen, it's going to be medical costs plus compensation for lost wages. So being injured on the job looks attractive to some workers. So I actually used to watch a TV series where the father was a terrible father of so many children, and he would get into he couple of times tried to fake injury to get this worker's compensation, right? So if you can guess that TV show, write in the comments. Okay. So this program may actually encourage individuals to fake injury. Maybe my back already hurt, but at the factory floor, I was walking, I carried too heavy, and I fell and hurt my back, right? Nonetheless, we need to understand moral hazard is an inevitable cost of insurance, private or social. We cannot just say like, oh, people are faking this. Maybe 1 in 100 are faking it. However, we cannot prevent people from getting insurance, and we shouldn't abolish insurance because some people are misusing the system, okay? We increase the incidence of bad events simply by insuring against them. So this is, this is a fact. So what determines moral hazard? Moral hazard depends on how easy it is to detect whether the adverse event happened and how easy it is to change one's behavior to establish the adverse event. Okay, so let's talk about in social insurance context 4 types of moral hazard that plays an important role. Number 1 is the reduced precaution against entering the adverse state. So if I know that I have workers' compensation that will pay for my lost wages and my medical bills, then I am going to be a little bit less careful maybe in the factory floor, because I know if I get into trouble, I'm just going to not work and also get my medical bills paid, also some other lawsuit, maybe I can do it. So I'm going to take reduced precaution against being, I'm going to be less careful in the factory floor. Increase odds of entering the adverse state, so maybe I'm going to be more likely to be less careful. Not taking precautions, this is like literally being more in that case. With the car insurance, it is basically people not putting their seatbelt on, right? Reduce precaution against entering the adverse state. Increase odds of entering the adverse state, maybe actively driving aggressively because I'm fully covered. The next one is increase the expenditure when in adverse state. This could be such that maybe you are seeking extra doctor visits, you are in the adverse state. If you didn't have insurance, you would just see 1 or 2 doctors, specialists. But let's say because I have full coverage, workers' comp is going to pay for everything. So I'm going to go to 5-10 specialists. I'm going to get second opinion, third opinion. I'm going to get expensive, for instance, chiropractor visits, all those physical therapy, versus if I didn't have insurance, I was just going to make do. And the last one is supplier responses to insurance against adverse state. So let's say you are in the adverse state, you are injured, and maybe a medical provider can actually say, hey, you have insurance, you're covered, let's run these extra tests. Maybe necessary, maybe not. Okay, so let's put everything together. What is optimal social insurance provided by government? We have 4 basic reasons. Number 1, individuals value insurance and would like to smooth consumption. Number 2, insurance markets fail to emerge because of adverse selection. We started studying it in part 2. Number 3, private consumption smoothing mechanisms may be available. We must examine new consumption smoothing versus crowding of existing self-insurance. So what if there's already self-insurance and government crowds it out, right? I'm already saving millions, let's say I don't have that, for my retirement, and government providing social security benefits making me more relaxed. The last one, expanding insurance encourages moral hazard. This is normal. Moral hazard will happen. So these lessons have policy implications, public policy implications. Social insurance should be partial. Full insurance coverage will encourage adverse behavior. So if you have unemployment insurance 100%, I'm going to stay unemployed as much as I can, 26 weeks. And the second one is social insurance should be more generous for unpredictable long-term events where there's less room for consumption smoothing, private consumption. So basically, for instance, may God prevent being disabled due to an accident. That should be more generous program than unemployment insurance. And the last one is more moral hazard should lead to less insurance. If there is a moral hazard chance, it should lead to less insurance. I will see you in next chapter. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. The best way to support me is to hit the like button to help other students earn A in their classes in economics. Also subscribe to this channel so you'll get all the notifications for all the new videos. See you later.